This is Gotham TV Podcast episode 116, where we're talking to David Mazouz of Gotham. This is Derek from Gotham TV Podcast for episode 116. Our Gotham week continues with a very special interview. My guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, it's David Mazouz. I play Bruce Wayne on Gotham, and I'm very excited to be here.
Excellent. We are so happy to have you back with us, David. The last time we met was back in at Heroes Villains Fan Fest in London last May of last year. And you teased us with so much coming up on Gotham during the year, but you did not prepare us for the first half of season 4.
Well, if I can, then we're not doing our job. Gotham is intentionally the craziest show ever. So if you're ever prepared for it in any way, then we're not doing what we're supposed to be.
Well, we thought, doing a podcast for it for about 4 years so far. We've been talking about the show. We thought we knew exactly what was going to be going on, but huge stuff coming up or came up this season so far. First up, I'm currently speaking to you from Switzerland. So at the end of last season, Alpha was trying to send Bruce to Switzerland to solve all of his problems. At least we've got David Mazouz talking to us in the country of Switzerland. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. How is it there? Are you visiting Bruce Wayne's chalet?
I wish.
In the mountains?
It's about -5 degrees at the moment, so probably not the greatest way to solve your problems. Yeah. That could put him in a deeper depression. It could, absolutely. But I wanted to talk to you about one of the big things you teased for us last year when we spoke to you in London, which was about the costume that you were finally putting on towards the end of season 3. Towards the start of this season, you got an upgrade from Chris Chalk. Let me just tell me about what that moment was like, putting on the costume for the first time.
At the end of season 3, or the one in season 4?
The one in season 4, I think, is probably the bigger, cooler costume than the one you had in season 3.
It was amazing. I mean, we had done maybe 2 or 3 fittings before that to get like all the parts of it right. And when we were finally shooting that scene, I went down and I had everything on besides the gloves and the mask. Mm-hmm. I got down, I got wired. And then I put everything on, and then the first scene that we did was a green screen scene on stage.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. I put everything on. They wired me up so I wouldn't fall off, even though I was only like 8 feet off the ground.
Very important.
And I was just, I was looking down onto Gotham from the top of a city building. It was an amazing feeling. I can't even describe it.
Very cool. How did you feel when you saw the final scene all put together with the composite that was done by the digital effects team, seeing that city below Bruce Wayne?
It was so cool. I'm always so impressed and always so excited to see what they have. They are really, really phenomenal. I mean, they won an Emmy for what they did.
That's right.
Last year for the finale, and for that shot, they did. Oh my God! I mean, how much work that must have gone into doing. Just that final shot of the season of starting on the family and morphing it into that, which was a real camera, and then morphing that move into basically a green screen shot of me on a stage, and then zooming out and seeing the whole city behind me. They did an incredible job.
Just an epic shot, absolutely beautiful shot for season 3 of Gotham, and season 4 of Gotham was at the end of episode 2 was beautiful as well. Really, really good. Hopefully, we'll see Lucius Fox coming back with some even better rock climbing gear for Bruce this season. Yes,
the gear will never stop coming until Bruce is satisfied, which, as we know, until he gets a bat on his chest, he won't be.
Excellent. I'd like to know a little bit more about the behind the scenes of the show, if that's cool with you. The last few seasons, you've had a lot to do with Sean Pertwee. Both of you worked together in the Wayne Manor set. Do you ever film multiple episodes at the same time, or do you generally kind of piece the episode once a week as the directors are working on it? Do you work with the directors every single week, or do you just kind of film little bits, little inserts that you guys have to do together?
So the way it works is we shoot 9-day episodes, and the first and last day of each episode is tandem. So So there are times with episode either before or after. So there are times on those tandem days when we work on multiple episodes in one day.
Right.
For the most part, that doesn't happen. There was one time, the scene actually at the end of season 3 when we shot when we killed Alfred. When I killed Alfred with Rachel Gould, we shot because it was the last scene of episode 21, the first scene of episode 22.
Right.
Were basically a continuation of each other. So we shot those as one big scene with 2 different directors.
Right.
But besides that, normally no, that doesn't happen.
And do you get much time to kind of see the other scenes being filmed with the other members of the cast? Because I know a lot of it's filmed in the same studio. Do you get much time to actually see the other guys?
It's tricky because we film. I mean, first of all, we do film in the same studio for everybody, but we also film a large majority on location. Especially at the beginning, we were like 70% on location. Now I think it's a little more 50-50, but I think it's still a little more location. So, and our locations tend to be pretty far out. I mean, like how the show is so aesthetically pleasing. So it's beautiful, and you have these real New York locations. And in order to really utilize those to their fullest potential, we don't do it easy. We really go out to places that are cold, very, very cold. Usually, like today, we were actually shooting at a cemetery. I won't tell you what we were doing there, but somebody died.
Right.
That's all I'll say. So for the most part, it's tricky to see other cast members shoot. But every once in a while, we do like when like for example, if we get called in at the studio and they're filming something else downstairs. A lot of times we'll go downstairs and we'll watch, but it doesn't always happen. Right.
You've spent a lot of time this season with a lot of the other cast on the show. Lucky moments for you this season. Have you got a favourite one? Have you got a favourite moment working with the other cast?
I would say the first thing that comes into my head is at the beginning of this season, I had a scene. I mean, the cast is so great. I really love working with the cast. I have way too many like specific moments just throughout the whole show that I can pick out. I mean, like if we're saying season 4, one of my favorites was the scene in episode 3 where Bruce was at Penguin's auction.
Excellent.
with Alfred. I mean, besides for that being a great scene for Bruce and really, really fun to do. I love whenever I get to work with Robin. I've got to do it maybe 3 times throughout the entire show, and that was really fun. You know what? I have an even better answer for you. In the season 4 premiere, we had a huge scene that maybe took us 2 days to shoot, and the entire cast was in it. It was Alfred, Bruce, Selina, Gordon, Bullock, the Scarecrow's kind of gang at the beginning of the season, Penguin, Tabitha, Barbara. It was everybody, and it was just like a party on set. We all were in the Wayne our cast chairs were in the Wayne Manor kitchen. And we were all just taking a bunch of pictures. Ivy was also there. I mean, it was a blast. It was literally like a party. Like they had a hard time getting us to settle down for work because we never get to work together. And it was really exciting to do that. And we all very conscious of the fact that this was like a very cool experience that we don't get to do often.
Absolutely. Hopefully a bit more movement outside of Wayne Manor. This season coming up, the next half of the season. I know there's been some sad moments for us as huge fans of Alfred and Bruce that their relationship is now kind of broken up as we've seen it. But that hopefully will give a little bit more opportunity for David Mazouz, the actor, to break out into Gotham and see a bit more of the city.
Yeah.
Where is he going next?
Where's Bruce going next? Where is Bruce going next? What can I say? Let's tease you a little bit. So, Bruce is in a very obviously this is nothing new. He's in a very deep hole, and we know he'll dig himself out eventually. How and when are kind of the 2 biggest questions on our mind at this point. And all I'll say is that I won't answer them, but what I'll say is that it's really hard. And the way that he gets out of the hole, I was worried when I first heard at the beginning of the season that they were going to go down this path. I really didn't want them to make it kind of forced just because they had to make Bruce back on this path. I really wanted it to be something natural and believable. for his character, that he would, kind of wake up, so to speak, and somehow get out of this funk that he's in.
Yeah.
Which is really, really deep. It's probably the deepest depression that I think it's all of. I mean, it's mainly kind of triggered by the guilt with Ra's al Ghul, but I think Bruce has been living with excruciating pain under the surface for a very, very long time, and this is him taking it all out. And he's not hurting anybody, but he's only hurting himself.
Yeah.
And Alfred, of course.
Yeah.
So when because that was such a big deal, I really didn't want them to just kind of one episode just be like some kind of silly reason for him to somebody was in danger and he had to go save them, and that made him realize of his potential. But the way they did it is really it's a even harder experience than this depression has been. And once he kind of does have that revelation moment, it's an even further uphill battle to gather back his people, and because he's pissed everybody off in his life.
Yeah.
So I kind of get his old life back is going to be even more challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll get to see you guys back together, you and Alfred back together in Wayne Manor in future at some point. I'm sure it's going to happen, but as you say, there's a lot that Bruce has to go through in the future to get there. Himself and Selina have gone on kind of separate paths this season, both trying to find themselves. Do you think there's going to be a big kind of revelation when the two of them meet each other back up again? There's been a lot of growth between both Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne. How do you think they'll interact with each other when they finally get to meet back up again?
There's a big storyline between two of them coming up. It's a very big nod to kind of what we did in season 3 when they were kind of at their prime in their partnership together. Mm-hmm. What can I say? And it will go through a very, very dramatic and devastating turn towards the very end of the season. It's really tough for I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to let you watch. But all I'll say is that they will get back together, and they will kick some butt together. But eventually, something very, very bad is going to happen.
Oh, okay, all right. Thanks for the tease, David. Speaking of which, you've worked with all of the Poison Ivies so far on the season, and we've got a brand new one coming up, played by Peyton List, playing our third Poison Ivy in the season. Can you tell us anything about your interaction with the new Ivy? We know you have a scene with her, at least early on in the season. Can you tell us about the new Poison Ivy, a little bit about that character?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to say that I haven't seen the actual episode yet, but I saw what they... I mean, obviously, I as you know, I worked with Peyton.
You were there, yeah.
And I saw some of the scenes that they released in the promo, and I mean, I can't wait to see it. She looks incredible in the role of Ivy, and it really looks phenomenal. I can't wait to see her bring on that famous villainess to the show. So in terms of Bruce and Ivy, Ivy will be very instrumental in Bruce's development and Bruce's kind of transition that he's going to be going through very, very soon. She's going to do something to him that will. Oof, this is so tough to not give away. She's gonna do something to him that will be a very big deal.
Right.
And but yeah. So that is what I'll say. I mean, okay. I'll leave it at that.
That's all right. At Gotham TV Podcast, we don't like a huge amount of spoilers for the season, so it's all right. One quick question from one of our listeners. You mentioned recently that you were talking about one of the directors that you'd worked with, John Baring, on this season. You'd worked with him on the episode where Bruce gets his club, I suppose, in the city of Gotham. And you said that he kind of had a really good understanding of the Bruce Wayne character, and that helped you out in the episode quite a lot. What stands out to you about a director or a writer, that how they get Bruce Wayne and how that helps you in your acting? I
would say preparation is the biggest thing. A lot of times, and this is just TV, we have been so blessed on Gotham. We have really amazing directors. I really can't think of any one specific person that I've been really disappointed with. But I just know from working in TV that in general, you have a lot of directors that come in for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they know that. They know that they're just there for a little bit, and they don't really take the time to really understand these characters. And John in particular, but also, I mean, everybody that we've had on Gotham really does their homework and comes in with an understanding, which is always super helpful. I think that's it.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's a great question. Whoever asked that.
And how much fun was it to film the scenes in the nightclub?
Oh my God. It was the most fun thing I've ever shot. It was really phenomenal.
Or was it like a daytime bright outside and you had to do a nightclub scene? Was it that kind of way? Or was it much more fun than that?
I think it was. I think it was daytime outside, but it was just so much fun because I just was able to let loose like I've never been able to do in front of the camera before.
Good stuff. Hopefully a bit more of that before Bruce has to return to his training back in Wayne Manor. I know we've got to finish up pretty soon, if that's all right with you, David. I've got one last question for you, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now that you are a pub landlord, as Sean Pertwee might say, or a nightclub owner, as you might say, if Gotham TV Podcast turned up to your club, how would Bruce Wayne greet us, or would we be shown the door by the bouncers?
Oh, no, of course you wouldn't. As long as you're willing to party, Bruce Wayne would be giving you unlimited alcohol and anything else he could find. Yeah, no, you would have a great time at his nightclub.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for joining us, David, and so good of you to take the time out. I know you've got a bunch of stuff on this week leading into the premiere of Gotham on March 1st. Really looking forward to getting to the other half of the season. And we're going to see you at Heroes Villains Fan Fest London in May.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much for joining us. We will hopefully talk to you very soon.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Anything else that you want to say to the Gothamites and fellow detectives?
Just Thursday's premiere is really going to be phenomenal, and it's only going to get better from there.
Excellent.
So tune in.
Excellent. Thank you so much, David. We will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Well, that was our exclusive interview with David Mazouz, who plays Bruce Wayne on Gotham, as I'm sure you know. Really enjoyed that interview, and lots of stuff teased about the rest of the season, including obviously how Bruce is going to get back from the edge where he seems to be living at the moment. What's going to be happening between himself and Selina Kyle coming up. Sounds like there's going to be some devastating moments coming up in the season. And obviously, what is it that Ivy has done to Bruce that will change his life forever? Really interesting stuff. Looking forward to seeing it. Gotham airs its next episode on the 1st of March, as you know. We'll be covering it over on Gotham TV Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast at gothamtvpodcast.com. Loads of subscribe links there, or you can find us on any good or evil podcast catcher. Just search for Gotham TV Podcast. We'll talk to you again once the new episode is out. We should have our episode up by Saturday or Sunday of this week. Looking forward to seeing the rest of this season. And a huge thank you to David Mazouz for joining us again for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.